Hello everybody, welcome to Melbourne. Now this season we're making the grids up out of the race finishing results. So we have Sebastian Vettel on pole, then Hamilton and Raikkonen, and here we go. 2018 is away and it starts a bit wet, but it is going to dry through the race. So not any more rain due, but Hamilton takes the lead straight away from Sebastian Vettel. And also Daniel Ricciardo has got ahead of Kimi Raikkonen, and Max Verstappen has got ahead of Fernando Alonso. So lots of moves being made already, and Hamilton leads down into turn 3 and maintains the advantage that he'd taken from Sebastian Vettel at the start. And here is Max Verstappen passing Fernando Alonso, and how he did that. So there we go, moving on in the race now. Hamilton get a nice little clear advantage, but Vettel is under pressure from Daniel Ricciardo. He wants to make a strong impression in his home race, and those Red Bulls have got buckets of pace. The Ferraris are struggling. Here comes Ricciardo for a look at Vettel. Is it going to change? Oh, he's up at the curb, and he's up at the... That's crazy from Ricciardo. Too much. It was always going to be closed off by Vettel, and somehow there's no damage. We're going to have a look at that again. And Daniel Ricciardo, he goes up on the curb and actually makes contact with Sebastian Vettel, and very, very lucky indeed not to lose his front wing there. Well, we said it was supposed to dry, but look at it now. They're having an absolute downpour, and this is crazy. This is not what was supposed to happen, but it's happening. It's getting very heavy. They're on slicks. They're still driving like they're on slicks in the dry, but it's not dry, and they're starting to run wide. It's starting to go crazy, and look, they're all off. They're all off, and Vettel is off, and he's coming back, and Alonso is well off, but he's come back on the track. So at the moment they're recovering, but look how much they're sliding around. They can't afford to put any gas down now at all. Ricciardo through that, and Raikkonen is stuck in the pit lane entry, and Bottas straight into him. What on earth happened there? Bottas into him, and Max Verstappen as well loses his front wing. That's Fernando Alonso caught up in that, and sides, they're all coming in. This is terrible. This is like Spa 98. They're just all coming steaming in. However, there's unfortunately quite a few who are trying to drive like Ricardo Rosset did in that race, and they're just absolutely barreling into the rest of the field. Well, how do you sort that one out? You've got Daniel Ricciardo in third. He's lost a lot of ground to Sebastian Vettel there through not being out. In fact, Vettel has made ground up on Hamilton. He's right with him. But Ricciardo's lost ground. Verstappen has lost ground and a front wing, but he's still in full for the moment. Hulkenberg the same. I think all the cars behind are damaged, but there we go. So Sainz is there. We need to see Hamilton versus Vettel. They were really close. Are we going to flick back to it? We need to. But look, we're still seeing how they're all sorting out the points runners there and all the retirements. And that is Perez's Force India stranded in the middle of the track. And Vettel has lost ground to Hamilton. Quite a bit of ground. What's happened there? Can we get a replay? Can we see what's happened? Well, first of all, we're going to see Vettel dropping briefly behind Daniel Ricciardo and then repassing the Red Bull as the balance shifts. All of a sudden it's Ferrari with the pace, or the one remaining Ferrari, and not the Red Bull as they did when the circuit was a lot drier earlier in the race. Look at those guys still struggling, and Alonso in another spin, and he's the guy who's still got his front and rear wing intact. I think because he had a side impact, it sheltered him. This is Alonso going off the circuit earlier. Look at the way he just accelerates into that wall. That is, well, absolutely crazy, but I guess you've got to be crazy at driving these conditions, and these guys are, but in a good way, of course. So they are still going round, crawling round, absolute snail's pace, and as they try to finish the race. That's what happened to Bottas driving like a complete fool straight into Raikkonen. You can see Raikkonen stopped, and he keeps the throttle down. This is it from Kimi's point of view. We might see quite a lot here because Kimi was the absolute battering ram for everybody. It seems, first of all, like that curb next to the pit lane was a warning. It slowed him down. He's trying to get the gas back down, and Bottas into him, Verstappen into him, then everybody just comes piling in, and Stoffel Van Dorn. I mean, that was absolutely idiotic. Coming straight in and just absolutely hammering into him, and he's not the only one. But then Van Dorn just keeps pushing Raikkonen down the pit wall, or the opposite side of the pit wall. And then finally everyone goes past, and Kimi can come to rest. But that can't have been a very nice experience for Kimi Raikkonen. He was the absolute battering ram there. And there we go, we're watching now as Ricciardo and Vettel is still quite a way behind Lewis Hamilton. The top 3 or 4 places should be sorted in this race now. But let's see, I think we've got some more replays coming. Yeah, this was from the start of lap 2, and Hamilton, that is why Vettel was able to close up on him. Got a bit of a tank slapper. Here is Seb coming for the move here. We know he lost a lot of ground. What happened? So he gets the slide, and that's, well, it doesn't appear to have lost him that much ground. So is there anything else that's happening here? Because he's still behind Lewis, and now around Sebastian Vettel goes, and that is why he lost the ground to Lewis Hamilton. Vettel actually has appeared to have a lot more confidence and grip in these conditions, but it all went away, I'm afraid, when he got on the outside line, and it's clear that that is not the grippiest part of the circuit in these conditions. And Seb, there we go, one little puff on the throttle and then another to try to correct it. It's too much, it's too difficult to try to correct it on slicks in these conditions, and they're all just crawling round to the line. That's all they can do. And Vettel, though, look at his confidence, because once again he is closing on Lewis Hamilton, but he's running out of time, and I think they're all just opting to take that grassy line out there now, just to try to get around, just to stop the car stalling and try to get around safely to the line. And I think Sebastian Vettel is going to have to settle for second place ultimately, but Lewis Hamilton had a strong race. Vettel is sliding a straight line there, and Perez's Force India has been moved away from the centre of the pit straight. Thank goodness for that, because we've seen races before in this channel where the cars have had to go around them, but in these conditions not necessarily a chance of getting around it. Ricciardo is about to claim third, and you can see there Max Verstappen still holding on to fourth place without his front wing, because everybody else has got damage as well, so it's very much status quo. But he's coming to the pit lane, and are these damaged cars all going to finish in the pit lane? Well, this time I have decided to let the race results run, because there's so much confusion. There was just not enough time to explain to you how it ended up like this and what the top 10 actually was, because it was so ridiculous. Now we're going to watch some replays, because in that final lap, Fernando Alonso, he was in, I think, 6th or 7th place. He then dropped to 10th. He then got back to 7th, which you see here, and then off he spun again, dropped to 10th. But how did he end up getting back to 7th by the end of the race? This is what we're going to look at. This is why I've left this replay up for you. And look there, Alonso is the guy with front and rear wings still in his car, so he just cannot brake in time. And then finally, as they get around the back part of the circuit, finally as they get around the back part of the circuit, Fernando finally manages to make those moves earlier, because he couldn't brake on time. He ended up spinning, and he spins again there. So Fernando had about 3 or 4 little half spins in the final lap, but somehow managed to make it work. And there we go, that was I think Sainz going off again, and that's where Fernando finally made his way through. Now he's up into 8th place, and clearly Esteban Ocon with nothing, no front wing. Fernando was then able to make his way past. But what a race. Thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and take care.